Okay, so we're gonna try this again, and this is going to be our final product. This is my friend Amber, and this is a photo that I'm editing in Photoshop. And so I'm gonna kind of go through how I went through all of these different layers in Photoshop just by starting with an original picture. So this is the original picture that we're gonna use, and we're gonna go ahead and right-click, open with Adobe Photoshop. Oh, that's not working. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and not save that. We're just going to go ahead and redo it. Come back here. There we go. Perfect. So first what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the background tab and we're going to say duplicate layer. Press OK. So now that we have a copy of our background on top. So what I always like to do with every image that I start editing with is I go up to the image tool at the top and I do auto tone.
I'm so sorry.
That's Wait, I can edit that out. So like we're good, we're good. That was funny. Um, so image, so auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. And so this kind of brings a little bit more green into her face because it's a very like purple red type photo. So if I go over here to the eye tool and I click that, you can kind of see the difference between the two photos just through those three tools. Personally, I kind of like it not as green. I really like the purple over here. So I'm going to do is, I do like some of the contrast that it added. So the opacity tool right here, it's at 100%. I'm going to bring this down to about 30. Yep, just like that. There we go. And so it gives a little bit of difference, a little bit of color correction, but not too much. But I like that her hair looks so natural right here. But over here we have this like kind of purple hue. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the brightness and contrast tool just a little bit. And so over here it creates a completely new layer to kind of build on top of everything else. This is where editing can kind of be your choice. Some people love to go really bright and love to add a lot of contrast. Some people don't. I mean, I've seen photos of like people love to do stuff like this where it's super bright. It adds this kind of like angelic glow to her. I just think her shirt gets a little washed out here, and her skin also looks like a little too bright for my taste. So I wouldn't go that high personally, but going somewhere like 32 even is I think is pretty good. Um, so that's just the brightness, and I added a little contrast there. Next, I like to play with the levels and the curves. It just kind of adds a softness to my photos that I personally really like to do in my editing. So when I play with these tools, I tend to push everything kind of towards the middle. So this will darken and this will lighten, and I don't know all the specifics to what these do and what all the numbers mean. This is more of a tool that I kind of eye like use my eyes just to see like what works and what doesn't. So if I wanted to make her darker, I could keep going this way. If I want to add a little bit more lightness, I can go this way. But it's a very subtle change, so that's without the levels and that's with. And this added a little bit of weight to the background, but if I go to the curves, I like to kind of pull this into more of an S shape, so we're adding a little bit of lightness in some areas. Then move this into the middle, and then move this down, and I like to move this down a little bit too, and adds kind of a filtery effect to her. So this is a pretty harsh edit in terms of this tool. So that's without and that's with. So I'm going to go again to the opacity tool, and I'm going to bring this down to about 50-ish%. We'll see how this looks. Yeah, this looks a lot better. So it kind of softens her face a little bit here and over on the side and her hair and that kind of stuff. So without these two tools, that's what it looked like first, and then putting these back on kind of adds some darkness over here, some lightness over here, and I kind of like the weight that it's changing into. Um, so next I'm going to do a little bit of a desaturation just because I don't like too much color in my pictures. I like to have, again, that filtered effect, and it's very subtle, so that's without it and that's with it. Um, and that's pretty much all I need for my editing. I might do maybe a little bit of color balance, add a tad bit of yellow and a tad bit of red just to pull out some of the color. But that's pretty much all I need to do. And so now what I'm going to do is hit Command S up, the up arrow, and save it as a new file. So I'm just going to put Amber Final 4, and then I'm going to put this in a JPEG tool, and I'm going to download it to my desktop. and then save. Oh, and we already have that existing. That's right, because I did one earlier. So I'm actually going to cancel that, and I'm going to make this 5, and then save it. Perfect. And so we always want our quality to be on 12 so that it can be the largest file possible. Press OK, and then we are good to go.